Hello, it is me, your boy, Sasquatch Senpai, and it's a new week, which means some new news, which means new controversies about microtransactions in a fully priced game that's also a live service game with a hefty dose of microtransactions already. Plenty of other good news going around though, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Dragami Games, the developer behind the upcoming remake of Lollipop Chainsaw, has revealed that the title of the remake has been decided upon, and that will be Lollipop Chainsaw RePOP. It does kind of pop. It's a good title for a remake. However, disappointing news quickly followed this, so for anyone looking forward to the title, got some bad news. The release of this game has been delayed from the previously expected launch date in late summer 2023, that's this year, which is coming to an end of that time window, to an unspecified date in the summer of 2024. The decision to postpone the release was motivated by the studio's commitment to delivering a high-quality gaming experience. In an official statement, Dragami Games stated, "Although development of RePOP was carried out with the intention of a 2023 release, our commitment to providing the best possible quality experience to our players led us to making the hard decision to extend the development period in order to ensure this. We sincerely apologize to all who have been waiting for the latest installment in the Lollipop Chainsaw series and kindly ask for your understanding in this matter." This was originally launched and announced back in 2022. Lollipop Chainsaw RePOP is not a continuation of the series, however, it's just a remake of the 2012 title, the hack-and-slash action game from Grasshopper Manufacturer and Suda51, as well as James Gunn. So while the exact console platforms for Lollipop Chainsaw RePOP have not yet been announced, well, you can now look forward to its new eventual launch in summer of 2024, as Dragami Games aims to deliver an improved and engaging gaming experience for both existing fans and new players. I, for one, loved the original title. It did have its issues, but I thought it was a very refreshing breath of fresh air in that kind of stale action hack-and-slash genre at the time, and am greatly looking forward to this remake. Though it does lack, actually having Suda51 or James Gunn being involved with the title in any sort of manner. They were kind of the brains and what made the game just kind of click for me. So we'll see. Hopefully it can kind of carry on that same sort of feel and experience. Some more news has come up about that big old breakup deal involving Embracer Group, the Swedish holding company that has been on the acquisition spree of gaming entities. So that great gaming little breakup that happened resulted in a significant stock drop earlier this year after a mystery $2 billion deal apparently unexpectedly fell through at the last minute. Contrary to initial speculation involving companies like Microsoft and Sony, it was revealed that the deal was actually with Savvy Games Group, a subsidiary of the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, which is led by their crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman? I wanted to say Salami, that's not right. The CEO of Embracer Group, Lars Winchfors, mentioned that in a quarterly earnings release on May 24th, that a major strategic partnership negotiated over a period of 7 months had failed to materialize in the end. He suggested that this deal could have set a new benchmark for the gaming industry, while at the time he didn't name the company that withdrew, and initial speculation for the candidates involved included the aforementioned Microsoft and Sony, but also Netflix, Amazon, NetEase, and of course Tencent. According to sources and documentation reviewed by newsgroup Axios, it was actually the Savvy Games Group, who is led by CEO Brian Ward. Savvy Games Group apparently had an ambitious plan to establish Saudi Arabia as a gaming hub with a focus on developing new titles for the gaming industry. The exact reasons for Savvy's withdrawal from the agreement remains unclear, but I can manage to guess as to what a Saudi Arabia-based company didn't like, and that's typically women in any position of power. Embracer had previously received a $1 billion investment from the Saudi Public Investment Fund. This investment, along with similar investments by other gaming companies, such as Electronic Arts and Nintendo, had drawn criticism due to Saudi Arabia's human rights record. It's not great. Whether it was ethical concerns or logistical issues contributed to the collapse of the deal between Embracer and Savvy Games Group, that remains uncertain, and no one has responded to any outlets with any sort of clear answer on why that had happened. Well, it's a new year and a new iteration of the yearly NBA sports series, NBA 2K. NBA 2K24 is due to launch soon on September 6th on all platforms, sharing a date with Starfield, though won't really draw from that fan base too much, really. People like the NBA 2K series will play the NBA 2K series. So, as players of the series knows, the game is filled with numerous microtransactions already, from purchasing new My Team packs to fill out their online rosters to play against others, or even microtransactions for the single-player My Career mode, which you can also kind of take that player online in some aspects. Well, the 2K series is ran by none other than Take-Two Interactive, the publisher behind the not-so-old news of how their CEO and president have each made a bonus of $72 million last year, by pushing loads of microtransactions across their titles already, and it's just getting worse. Not only will NBA 2K4 be a fully priced launch title, they will still house those My Team packs and My Career packs for players to need to purchase to feel relevant and competitive in the online portions of the game, which are by far the most popular. But 2K has announced that even more microtransactions are on the way in the form of season passes. Each year will house 2 seasons so far, currently costs $10 for the base Pro version. That's the base version of it. There is also a free one, but paying $10 unlocks apparently 40 more awards for you to unlock. However, there's even another one above that for $20, the Hall of Fame Season Pass, for even more exclusive rewards and tier skips on that Season Pass. Players of the game are not too happy about this, considering the game is already steeped in numerous microtransactions you need to purchase to feel relevant if you want to play online in any sort of competitive manner. And particularly following the highly successful launch of Baldur's Gate 3, where there are no microtransactions to be seen, and is a complete game from the get-go, people, even though these titles are completely separate, can't seem to help compare the two and their business practices. So if you were looking for more reasons to disapprove of Take-Two Interactive recently, despite recent news having already providing more than enough, such as the lazy port of Red Dead Redemption to the PS4 and Switch, well, you have more fuel for your fire. It seems some good news has finally come from Bungie and Destiny 2. The Destiny 2 community has been discontent, to say the least, following the recent State of the Game update that failed to address nearly any of the community's core concerns and issues with the game. To address this, game director Joe Blackburn released a video directly addressing the community, directly to them, acknowledging that the communication shortcomings and outlining upcoming changes. In the video, Blackburn announced plans for Season 22, which includes a free Everse armor set and a free PvP map pack for the Crucible, launching in 2024. Blackburn recognized that the previous State of the Game communication did not meet the studio's standards and attributed it to the developmental team's focus on the Final Shape expansion. He discussed plans for Destiny 2's showcase on August 22nd, where details about next year's expansion will be revealed. This is mostly for targeting casual fans with top-level ideas. He stated that this showcase has already been filmed and put together well in advance of the date, so none of this new information he is providing in the video would be present in it. A significant point of controversy was Destiny 2's PvP aspect. Blackburn assured players that there will be a new streamlined PvP developmental team created, aiming to communicate changes and content to the community more promptly and directly. The announcement also addressed the lack of new armor sets earned in-game, particularly those related to Crucible, Vanguard, and Gambit. These are the relic armor sets. Blackburn explained that the focus had shifted to armor sets for top-tier activities, but as a gesture of goodwill, one of Season 22's paid Everse sets will be made free. I'm gonna guess it's the cheapest one that they all decide looks the worst. The video's personal and intimate tone was well received by most players, fostering a positive response. Blackburn also acknowledged concerns about community safety, highlighting Bungie's commitment to ensuring the well-being of both community members and their leaders. The video also marks a departure from the norm and reflects on Bungie's desire to engage with the community in a more direct and inclusive manner after they unceremoniously announced that they would no longer be initiating direct contact with the community anymore a few months back, following threats to an individual developer from a person outside of the studio. in which Bungie won a lawsuit against that individual as well. To me, overall, this is a good step forward for Destiny 2 and Bungie, but it's probably just it's just too little too late. The actions such as the Crucible map pack, which is coming next year, while great on the outside and has great optics, is something that they could have been doing from the start, and that would have quelled the issues that the community had with how the Crucible was handled overall. And once again, that one free Everse armor set means nothing when they release so many per season per expansion. It's just something you're getting for free. It's not showing any sort of thing you earned in game. People in the Crucible, when they see someone else in that Crucible relic armor, they know that they grinded. They're one of the, at least they grinded and spent most of their time in the Crucible, if not one of being the top end players for that mode. The same goes for Gambit and every other mode in the game. That's just my personal opinion, though. Too little too late from a game series that I just used to love and adore, and now just kind of sits upon the pile of wasted potential games I have sitting in my various game libraries. You have a bit of Xbox related news here as well. Microsoft has officially announced that the Xbox 360 store, the one you access directly through the Xbox 360, will be shutting down on July 29th, 2024. They did make it clear that all the content purchased before that shutdown date, games and DLC, will be available to play and even downloaded after that store goes offline for good. Additionally, they did go forward and state that games that are backwards compatible, such as 360 games that are available on the Xbox One and Series XS consoles, will still be available for purchase from those platforms and playable. So overall good news for fans and people who are heavily digitally invested into that Xbox ecosystem. Moving over to Forza, Turn 10 have announced that the forthcoming Forza Motorsport will not include a few legacy features of the series at launch. Split screen, spectator mode, and AI racer inclusion in featured multiplayer modes will be absent from the title at launch. In an interview, creative director Chris Eskai said, quote, having players come into a featured multiplayer event and taking player spots and then spectating, it's not really the racing we had intended. Similarly, racing with AI and featured multiplayer with all its potential impacts on your safety rating also didn't make a whole lot of sense to have, and it's not going to be available for us at launch. He did go on also about the state of the game for the graphical fidelity of the title is, where it's at. That they had to overhaul the game engine, and the dual rendering of the title for split screen was just no longer possible at this time at the title's launch due to the difficulty of getting to function correctly and the quality being lowered to have that happen. He didn't rule out the inclusion of the feature at a later date, however. Starfield, the next game from Bethesda Softworks, has officially gone gold ahead of its September 6th launch as well. In addition to the discs being printed and in transit to retailers shortly, it was also announced that the game is going to be available for preload. So anyone planning to play it on Games Pass, both console and PC, that game started its preload functionality on August 17th and will be running through the game's launch, of course. Any Steam users who have purchased the game will be able to begin preloading on August 30th. Much closer to the actual release date of September 6th and the early access date of September 1st. I just hope my big old, collector's edition gets here with the watch and everything ahead of September 1st so I can actually download that title. Get to work on that, GameStop. Please, get to work on that, GameStop. Also have a few bit more game release movements going around. Assassin's Creed Mirage, the latest title from Ubisoft in that franchise, has gone gold as well. It seems that the game is ahead of schedule, going gold so early, and has also had the impact of moving the title's release date forward by 1 week. Mirage, the sort of mostly throwback to Assassin's Creed past, and ditching the large open-world RPGs of Valhalla and Odyssey, is much smaller scope of a game returning to its roots, mostly as a stealth action game. So fans who have been waiting patiently for a return to the series' roots, rejoice! You're going to be able to do that just a little bit earlier in an already very crowded release season. And of course, due to the laws of equal exchange, something had to give and be returned. Alan Wake 2 has been delayed, though not a very long delay. So fortunate for fans of the horror series, and fans of survival horror games in general, you'll be able to return to the Dark Place 10 days later on October 27th. The title was originally slated to be launched on October 17th, but the studio has decided to delay it by 10 days to avoid a early October of heavy releases. So now it will be launching after Spider-Man 2, with a little bit of time there before the early November season to, perhaps compete with Call of Duty coming out on November 10th. Well, that will be all for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed your stay, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'm currently working on a Palia Impressions video and attempting to start one of the new game from Airship Syndicate and Digital Extremes, Wayfinder, but oh boy, that game launched into an absolute mess. Massive server issues, Founders Packs items not being delivered to people who purchase them. It is an absolute mess. So that might be a little ways down the road. And if it's too far down the road, well, Starfield soon. Once again, thanks for tuning in and have a great weekend.